Is it on? Can you hear me? Can you hear us? Hi everyone. It's a big honor to welcome Tzipi Livni here at DLD. I have to say I'm almost nervous. Tzipi, thank you for coming. Since we have more than 1,000 people coming from abroad, I'd like to start with some biography questions. You're the Minister for Justice. You have been the Minister for Foreign Affairs. You're the face of Israeli politics for a lot of people outside of Israel. You're a star. You're a star, and you're the positive, the optimistic face.
I should quit while I'm ahead, you know.
Tzipi, tell me, what brought you into politics?
Wow. It was more than 10 years ago, the end of 1995, few weeks before Prime Minister Rabin was murdered here in Israel, when the Israeli society was divided between two different camps regarding the peace process between Israel and the Palestinians. For some, they were completely against giving up some of the land, of the historic land of Israel, to the Palestinians. The others were supporting peace, but they didn't speak with each other, and I felt that I'm caught in between, believing in the rights of the Jewish people on the entire land, but yet my values and my vision is about the state of Israel as a Jewish democratic state, and therefore for peace, in accordance to the idea of two states for two peoples. So I decided to join. Basically, I hate politics. But
Why?
Yes. Listen, it's the platform to change realities. This is the only real platform, I believe, to change realities here. And I'm doing what I believe is the right thing to do now as the chief negotiator of the State of Israel, as also as Minister of Justice. But it's a place in which always people, it's not only about competition, it's about headlines, it's about credits, it's about all this stuff, which I'm not that good on this, but I achieved, I'm right in the place in which I should be, and I believe that I need to be right now.
Very interesting. You mentioned that you are the chief negotiator between the Israeli government and the Palestinian Authority, and you are the face for the voice, very public voice for a two-state solution. So let me ask you frankly, what are the chances for the talks?
I believe that we didn't explore yet all the possibilities to achieve peace. I know that for some in Israel there is a lot of cynicism, lack of beliefs and hope. And I believe that it's feasible. It needs to be explored. And in the next few weeks, maybe next few months, we would know for sure whether it's feasible or not. But I believe that it represents the interest of the State of Israel. It's not a favor to the international community or to the Palestinians. This is the only way to keep the values of the State of Israel as a Jewish democratic state. And therefore, I believe that this is something that we need to do. And personally, I need to do it for the sake of my children and their generation.
That's impressive. Tzipi, what are the biggest obstacles in these talks? How can I imagine these talks? You meet the Palestinians, and what are the topics? How do you deal with them?
Well, it's not the first time. It's not my first meeting with Palestinians, and basically I negotiated with them a few years ago. So we are familiar.
You know each other.
Yes, also on a personal
basis.
Are
you friends? Are you friends? Are you friends of them?
Basically, we respect each other. We build trust, and this is basics in any negotiation, to build trust. Listen, I represent the interest of the State of Israel, and I know that they represent the interest of the Palestinians and their future state. So, of course, we argue, we have differences, but we do it in a manner that respects each other. We are not going to decide which narrative is more just. It's not choosing between two different narratives. It's to understand that the other has completely different narrative. I'm not going to adapt the Palestinian narrative. They are not going to adapt the Zionist narrative or the Jewish narrative, but we understand that we are not talking about the past, not about who is more just, which narrative is more just, or who has more rights on the entire land, but how do we create a better future for generations to come. So we are trying to avoid clashes. We are trying to convince each other. And basically all the topics are on the table. So we are moving in parallel, trying to address all the topics.
Does it help, sorry for this question, but does it help that you are a woman?
I hope so. Listen, I think that basically women in politics it's not like we don't have an ego, but we leave it outside of the negotiations room, outside of the cabinet meetings, and we are trying to focus on the mission and on the goals that we want to achieve. And basically we are more, I found out when I was also Minister of Foreign Affairs that dealing with women in leadership, it is more concrete, more to the point. We are not wasting time, and it's also a matter of values. It's not just a matter of ego and all this stuff.
What kind of values?
It's not just, it's about what is right and wrong. I think that, I cannot say that all of us, but I think that the difference between a politician and a leader is whether you have this inner compass that shows you the way, regardless to all the background noises, headlines, new trends. And this is something that leads you, and this is something which you have inside, and then you need also to have a strong, not only a strong vision, but you need to have the power to implement your beliefs, a kind of beliefs, knowing without somebody else telling you what is the right thing and what's wrong.
Interesting. Tzipi, since we are here at DLD stands for Digital Life Design, what role plays technology in your political life? Or in your private life?
Well, it changed basically almost everything here in Israel, especially in last elections. I'm old enough, so I needed to adjust myself to all these changes. It took me some time to understand what needs to be done in order to reach young people here in Israel. And it took me some time to understand, to speak shortly, to the point, to get the reactions and to address it. And so for me, it took me some time to understand that this can be used in order to touch people, to listen to, and it's a completely different contact between people, and this is also something that affects politics. And I'm using more and more Facebook and so on. It also makes politics more personal. When I joined politics, and maybe this is something especially that women are doing, I thought that to be personal, it's something that I want to avoid. I was talking about ideology, about politics, about visions, and not about my personal life. Maybe because I felt that to be more open can be perceived as weakness. And I think that this is something that also only women share. We need to be strong, just to not to speak about ourselves. And Facebook, it's something which is more personal.
Absolutely.
So now I'm more open in a way, so I can afford myself, taking picture of me cooking in the kitchen and putting in Facebook and believing that it's okay. I'm not only a politician or a leader, I'm also a human being. It's all right if people would see it.
Interesting. Does it also help for negotiations? I met one through Yossi Silka Absuk, who is doing projects with the Palestinians together with the Israelis to create a platform of understanding.
Listen, this is great because in order to have meetings in the net between Israel and Palestinians, you don't need to cross borders, checkpoints. People can meet, young people can share ideas, they can see each other. So this is something, in the past we made peace with leaders. So basically it was agreements, peace treaties, but it was not with peoples. And it's very important that we have something which is more, that connects peoples, that outside there, not only the Palestinians, but the entire Arab world would know who we are, what we believe in, that young people here are sharing basically the same thing that maybe the young people who took the streets in Cairo. They share the same feelings, maybe the same goals. So this is something that can change the atmosphere. So it is also true that unfortunately you can use the internet in also to have recipes to create bombs. But I believe that the benefits of this are much higher than the downside of this.
You mentioned the bombs. So how would you comment on this international debate on the Snowden affair about the big data, risk and security on one side, of control of the individual citizen and loss of freedom? How would you
Listen, I believe that we need some restrictions. I know we didn't reach a point in which we can live just happily ever after in this neighborhood and in the entire world, and there are some secrets that governments need to keep. This is part of Israel's security, and I believe that this can be also part of other states' security. So it is true that I completely believe in transparency. This is something that I'm doing also here in Israel. I believe that not the political negotiations now with the Palestinians, because we agree that it's going to be discreet, but our decisions, our discussions in the cabinet should be transparent, but not everything can be transparent. When it comes to security, there are certain things that need to be discreet, and I believe that it needs to be government's decisions and not something that somebody is doing just to share all this information that can affect also the security of a state. So I'm maybe part of the old guys on this. Not that open.
But nevertheless, you're not part of the old guys. I think you're part of the optimism in Israel.
People are asking me whether I'm pessimistic or optimistic. I'm realistic enough to understand that this is a tough neighborhood, so I'm not living in a kind of a fairy tale. But I believe that we need hope. I believe that we shouldn't and we cannot give up hope. So whether it's being described as optimism, so let it be optimistic. But I think that when we are looking at the region, we cannot just make decisions because we have all these threats. And we have threats. Iran is there, and the extremists are there, and the fundamentalists are there. But yet we have also some new opportunities as well. So looking at the region here, we need also to see what are the opportunities. And I know that for some, when the Arab, looking at the Arab Spring, for example, they said, okay, it's a new threat. But now I'm looking at Egypt, I'm looking at Syria, and the fact that they are taking out the chemical weapon. So things are changing not just for the worse, but also for good. And I believe that my role is not just to speak about hope, but to translate the changes into opportunities, and not just to say that the world is against us and we need to stick together against those that are against us. We need to seek also for new opportunities, and this is what I'm doing as well.
This conference is on opportunities. It's on visions, it's on technology, it's on business and opportunities. Tzipi, if you would have a dream, or if we have a time machine, in 5 years...
Can I be 18 again?
Why? Why 18? I struggled very much when I was 18.
I'm okay. I'm okay with my age.
So what is your dream about Israel in the next 5 years?
Wow. Israel, in my dreams, in my vision, it's not, it's a dream that can come true. It's a state which is open, liberal, part of the international community, but yet represent or being homeland of the Jewish people, but yet a democracy. And I believe that our Jewish values are part of the democratic values. It's not in contradiction, but these values are living in harmony, are living together. A state which is living in peace and security. I believe that we don't need to choose between peace and security, but we can have both. A state which is secured enough and that these young people are living here, feeling that they are part of the international community, citizens of the world, but also being proud to be citizens of Israel as well.
Thank you so much. Let's work on this. Let's fulfill this dream.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
Tzipi.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Toda.